Here we go, College Football Payoff Podcast, Week 9. What episode is it?
I think 28.
28. I'm Dan. That's Big Country.
Big Country here.
Yep. And we are back with more picks for you. Last week, what did we have? I went 1-2. Big Country was 2-1, so 3-3 as a pod. Podcast record is at 31-20. And I believe you're on, 16-3?
16-3.
16-3. Big run for him.
Easy. Light work.
Quick recap of last week for me. The one win was Ohio State minus 21. That was never in doubt. The two losses were pretty bad losses. After I put these on the pod, I kind of thought to myself, those are a little too big. I don't know why I did it. But Oklahoma kept it. Kansas kept it close. That was kind of telling.
Yeah.
That Oklahoma's not as good as what they thought they were. And then Cincinnati against Navy. I didn't think that was going to be that close.
I mean, you can fall into traps against teams that run the ball every play. I mean, if you're not scoring on your possessions and they're just running the clock out, that's
true.
I don't really. I hope that doesn't affect Cincy too long term for the college football playoff, because
I kind of think it will,
yeah.
But I mean, I thought they were going to come out with more fire, but yeah. So 1-2 last week. What were your games?
All right, I had Northwestern Michigan under. That hit pretty easily. Had the Illinois and Penn State under. That still hit even with 9 overtimes. Which, by the way, I think that's just a dumbass.
Yeah, I didn't
new
like that
format.
And that's pretty bad that it took 9 overtimes and they couldn't score more than a few.
I just think that's one of the dumbest things in college football now. I absolutely hate it. Not big enough to start a movement to reverse it, so I guess I'll just shut up and take it. And then we got my one loss was NC State, which I preached last week on the pod. I don't know why this line is like this. And, sucker bet, sucker results. So 2-1 last week.
You found out. All right, and then this week, we both said it today, the board looks pretty tough.
Really tough.
Yeah, I could not get a good read, but I did find 2, possibly 3. And I think you had 2, correct?
Yeah, I got 2 here. That I really like one, and then the other is just a situational play.
Yep. So we'll get into these quick pod and hopefully get back to that perfect record. But let me start because I might have 3, so I'll start it off, and I'm going to go with the Georgia versus Florida game. This is 3:30 in Florida. Well, in Jacksonville, so it's not a home game, but it is in Florida. And Georgia is 14-point favorites. I am going to be going with Georgia in this game. Reason why? Georgia's defense is ungodly. They are so good. And last week when I was watching the Buckeye game, they kept bringing it up. I can't remember if it was the telecast or halftime report or whatever, but they kept saying, imagine this Buckeye offense against the Georgia defense, because that's what everyone's comparing it to.
Even the Georgia offense versus the Buckeye defense now is not a terrible matchup. And I think that may be the national championship matchup that we're going to see, because if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship, they might be the top 4 team in the country still, but I still think with 2 losses they should be left out.
I do too.
So,
yeah, we'll get back to that.
And if Alabama makes it to the playoffs, I'm going to say that it's going to be a Georgia-Alabama national championship probably. If Alabama's left out of the 4, I think Ohio State can sneak in there. I definitely think right now they beat Oklahoma if they were to play it tomorrow. So.
Without a doubt. But with this game, what we're looking at is that Georgia defense, and basically no one's going to run up against them. So it all comes down to Georgia offense versus Florida defense, and I think it's Georgia's defense is going to shut down the offense so much to a point that Florida's not going to really have a will. They're going to feel like they have to do too much on offense and kind of take chances on defense, and I think that's where it kind of comes into play. But I do think Georgia is the best team in the country. They're number 1. They've played the best ball. Granted, their quarterback play is kind of iffy at times.
Yeah. And you never know who's going to actually be starting for them.
Right. But with this game, I think turnover battle, and when you talk turnover battle, Georgia, that defense is just, I can't say too many good things about them. It is a rivalry game, so, intense. Wouldn't be surprised if something happens pregame that they all get caught up on. But Georgia's run defense is just that good. It's going to continue to keep them going, and I do have some trends that I wanted to bring up. Where are they? All right. So Kirby Smart, Georgia's coach, 3-1 record head to head against Dan Mullen. 11-5 record against the spread in neutral site games, and then that is it. Damn, I can't find the other one. Anyway, but what I'm getting at, Georgia's really good against the spread this year. They're dominant, and Florida, I think they're just too inconsistent.
A-Rob's playing the second string quarterback. So
for
Florida.
For Florida,
so
easy money then.
He's probably better than the top guy, but
yeah,
it's just a hard game to handicap when you don't have a lot of film on him.
Well, Georgia,
I support you though.
I'm gonna stick with it. I don't want to get into too much analysis because I feel like less is more, especially it has been the past few weeks for me. So I'm gonna stick with Georgia minus 14 against Florida.
Okay. I got only 2 picks this week, even though I'm on the 16-3 run. I'm focused on the run. I want to go 18-3. Okay. So my 2 picks plus super hard board. First pick, we're going to go Minnesota minus 7.5. And they're traveling to Northwestern, playing at 3:30 on Saturday this week. Minnesota's a team that lost to Bowling Green this year. But since then, they've put up 3 straight wins against all Big Ten opponents. They're 3-1 in the conference, with their only loss being to Ohio State. I really like this team this week for a few reasons. One, Tanner Morgan bounced back from that Bowling Green loss for like a month ago. So I was worried that we were going to get that type of Tanner Morgan the rest of the season after that loss, but he's proven to me that he's come back from that. Also, Northwestern's just really straight up not a good team. This will be their 8th game of the season, and Ryan Helinski, their starting quarterback, only has 759 passing yards. They are not too hot on through the air and have relied a lot on their rushing game with Evan Hall. He has rushed for 643 yards and 5 touchdowns on 101 carries, so he is leading the charge there. But if we look at the other side of the ball, Minnesota has only allowed 85.7 yards rushing per game. They also have one of the biggest offensive lines in the whole country, and Northwestern's defense has given up 218.3 yards on the ground per game this year. I think Minnesota is going to run it down their throat. I think Northwestern, they weren't supposed to have that great of a season this year anyways. I have their win total at under 6.5, so I got to back up what I expected earlier this season. I think Minnesota bullies Northwestern in the trenches, and I think they can cover this 7.5 point spread.
Nice. Very quick, very easy. Roll into my next pick. Kentucky against Mississippi State, 7 o'clock at Mississippi State, and the line is Kentucky -1, over under set at 47.5. And with this one, I'm going to go with Kentucky -1. I was looking at the total. I really want to say under for this game, but 47 just, that's a scary number for me. I'm not sure why, but Kentucky has one of the best defenses in their conference. I mean, they
do.
They're passing, let me see. Wildcats passing defense 196 yards through the air. And Mississippi State is run and gun, so they like to throw. So they're going up against a really good passing defense. I think Kentucky can hold them and force Mississippi State to run the ball, which is not what they're strong at. But Kentucky is one of the hottest teams. They've won 6 of 7 straight up, and they're allowing less than 20 points a game. We do know Mississippi State likes to throw the ball. They like to score points, which is kind of why it scares me to mess with the total here. But this game is going to be... See, I keep thinking about the total, though, because I feel like this game's going to be a lot of... It's not going to be big plays over the top. It's going to be almost like an NFL-style game. You know, a lot of third downs, a lot of trench fights and stuff like that. But I think Kentucky is just... They're just too good. And Mississippi State, yeah, they're at home, but just 1 point. I still think Kentucky somehow gets a win here. They're feeling really well. Yeah, they had to play Georgia a couple weeks ago, but they only lost that 30-13 against one of the best, against the best defense. Yeah, the Kentucky secondary they don't allow the big plays. That's the main thing here. You're going up against a passing team. Kentucky does pretty well against the pass, and also Kentucky can run the ball. So I think Kentucky feeling good, seeing that they might have a little bit of a shot for the SEC. 1 point is basically a pick 'em to me. I'm taking Kentucky -1.
Okay, I like it. For my final pick for week 9 of college football, damn, week 9 already. Man, easy pick, but I got to go with Ohio State -18.5. Multiple reasons. This is a typical handicap of one team trending upwards, the other team trending directly downwards. I think Penn State is not going to react too well after 2 straight losses. Man, you lose to Iowa, then you go out and just put a really all-around unimpressive performance up against Illinois, even with the 9 overtimes. At home, you lost to an Illinois team that can't run the ball. And I know Sean Clifford was at 75% last week, really not that great. But, man, he got beat up again, and I don't really see him excelling the way he did earlier this season, at least while he's injured. Now, Penn State's defense is pretty damn good, only allowing 324 yards per game. Those are really good numbers when we're talking from a national perspective. But in conference, there's a lot more that has to go down. These teams are really familiar with each other. The game is at night in Columbus. I think that's worth a couple points there. Ohio State wearing all red, complete. What's it?
Scarlet out.
Scarlet out.
All the fans are going to be in red.
Yeah, so scarlet out, right off of just a completely demoralizing loss for Penn State. On top of that, you heard the press conference this week.
What an idiot!
Didn't he say we have Illinois on Saturday?
Because they brought up the USC coaching to James Franklin.
Yeah,
and he said he's focused on Illinois this week at the Big House,
which is Michigan Stadium.
So he named the wrong opponent
and the wrong
location.
Yeah, man.
And some people think, oh, he's trying to get in Ohio State's head, saying they think that we're not a quality opponent, but I just think he's stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he's a smart person at all.
Oh, I just think he's unfocused. I think that USC job probably is his. And, definitely with them going 0-6 last year and now 2 straight losses this year with, no hopes of winning the conference anymore, I really see them probably being checked out. I don't know if he lost the locker room yet, but I think he's well on the way.
Close.
Plus, we're dealing with a torn and tattered Sean Clifford. Penn State's defense, like I said, is really good, but, how good are they going to be against one of the top? They played Auburn, is probably their best opponent offensively. Iowa's terrible offense. Illinois, terrible offense. They lost to both of those teams. Indiana, bad offense. Villanova, almost lost to them, bad offense. Man, I just think Stroud is going to light it up, and if he doesn't light it up, we got Henderson to run the ball. So I'm thinking they're going to come out quick, they're going to start quick, and then I also don't think Ryan Day is going to take his foot off the gas. He knows what an Ohio State-Penn State matchup does recruiting-wise, and if he can make the world so much harder on the next coach that's going to come into Penn State recruiting-wise, barring James Franklin does go to USC, I think he does it. They haven't scored least they have scored Ohio State's offense in the last 4 games is 52 points. Is their lowest game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they get up around there, they win this. They cover the spread. So I'll take Ohio State minus 18.5.
Yeah, Stroud's looking good. Travion Henderson is, oh my God, he's the best running back I've seen.
Heisman winner 2022.
And then talking about Ryan Day not taking his foot off the gas. During that game last week against Indiana, I noticed Ohio State kept throwing the ball, kept scoring points. I'm like, that's not like him. But someone brought up a point that they think Ryan Day is a secret grudge holder. Because last year...
He sure looks like it.
So last year, Indiana said something about, the Buckeyes don't deserve to be in the Big Ten championship. So Ryan Day went out last week and made a statement.
Yeah.
I think James Franklin might have given Ryan Day a little bulletin board material this week with his stupid comments.
Yeah.
And, that plays into Ryan Day really wanting to put up a show. So.
And additionally, they have one loss to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have to win convincingly.
Yeah.
And they have to potentially beat out a potentially undefeated Cincinnati team at the end of the year. So
and with the way that the conference looks, I think you win convincingly.
Yeah.
It shows
you have
that.
to if you want to get in.
Yep.
So I just say for all the trends in my eyes are looking towards that Ohio State minus 18.5.
Beauty. All right, my last game. I think, I'm going to do this because I'm also going to put this on the money line, is Iowa at Wisconsin, noon kickoff in Wisconsin. I don't think it's going to be raining. It might be a little cold, but you got Iowa's defense that, you said their offense isn't anything great. Well, Wisconsin's offense turns the ball over. The total right now is set at 37, 36.5, 37.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play the under. But Wisconsin is actually favored by 3.5. And I think Iowa wins this game. So I'm going to take Iowa plus the points and the money line. The reason being, Wisconsin turns the ball over so much on offense. And, that cost them the Penn State game, the Michigan game, and the Notre Dame game. If Iowa can just get a touchdown here or there, I think Iowa can shut them out potentially.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Iowa's rested, and they're pretty pissed off about what happened with Purdue, sitting at the number 2 team in the country. Purdue comes in, basically took them away.
And really, Ohio State's opponent now from the Big Ten East is going to be Iowa, right? If they win out.
Mm-hmm.
So they still have something to play for.
No, they still have something to play for
so
sure.
they still have a conference championship at least in sight.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, if we're going to consider Ohio State still going to the national championship, we might as well or to the college football playoff, we might as well give Iowa a chance, especially if they can come out and beat Ohio State in that Big Ten championship.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
But Graham Mertz, quarterback for Wisconsin, he's a turnover machine. And Iowa, Wisconsin is number 1 against the run in the nation, but Iowa's defense is just so good. And it's always like that. Let's see. Takeaway, they have 16 takeaways in 6 games. Their defense rank is, 12th in the nation. Yeah, they're first in turnovers and third in points allowed. Yeah. Wisconsin does have a good defense, and it's like you can have a average defense against Iowa's offense, but yeah. I don't think Wisconsin should be favored anything because they turn the ball over. They're one of the most prone to turning the ball over, going against the best turnover defense. I think Iowa could get 3 or 4 turnovers in this game, shut them out, and just win the game as covering the points. So I'm taking Iowa plus 3.5 and the money line on this.
Okay. Yeah. I like it, I guess. I don't even know what to think of this game. This lowest total I've probably ever seen.
I really wanted to go with the under. I really wanted the under, but it's
maybe
just...
the first half unders in light, but we'll see. I haven't made a decision. And it's such a tough week that
it's a very, very tough week. So, all right. So, what were your 2 picks?
Minnesota minus 7.5, and Ohio State minus 18.5.
Here we go. And then I got Georgia minus 14, Kentucky minus 1, and then Iowa plus 3.5 and money line. And that'll do it. I mean, a very, very quick episode, but that's what happens when you get these tough weeks.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose, and hopefully I feel confident that we pick the ones that are going to show up for us. So that's it. Let them know what the socials are.
Man, we changed the name on Twitter.
Oh,
We are CFP_pod now.
wow.
Thought that was a little better.
I like that. So look for CFP_pod.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And you can find me at Big Country Bets. Are we switching your Twitter user handle now?
Still yet to be still to be determined. But for now, we'll stick with Accountant Bets. But next week, probably have something different for you.
Yeah.
Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Share with your friends. We are hot. We're winning. What's our podcast record right now?
Pull that up. Hang on, it's up here somewhere. We are 31-20.
Yeah, I mean,
31-20, 11 games over 500.
Quit gatekeeping the podcast. Don't you want to see if you're not bookieing your friends, you should be wanting them to win too, and you should be sharing this with them.
Yep.
That simple.
So comment, subscribe, share wherever you get podcasts. Yeah, that's all we got. You got anything else?
No, man. Let's survive this week 9. Let's go into week 10.
Survive in advance. I like it. All right, that's Big Country. I am Dan. We will see you next week.